Hello, and welcome to Exposed News Outlet, where we shed a light on topics that matter the most. I'm your host, Andrea. Today, we're exploring positivity in my speech about being the light in the darkness of the world, as I do believe in speaking truth to propaganda and disinformation, fact-checking the lies, but I also believe in the power of positivity and giving a positive example and words of positivity. With that being said, as we navigate the complexities of our world, it's essential to stay informed and engaged. By subscribing to our channel, enabling notifications, and sharing our content, you are supporting our mission to provide thought-provoking insights and inspire positive change. Thank you for being a part of our community. Also, help support independent journalism and advocacy for civil rights. In a world dominated by corporate media and billionaires, it's becoming increasingly difficult to get unbiased facts. That's why I'm dedicated to creating an independent news media outlet that prioritizes stories that matter most. As an independent journalist, I'm committed to advocating for civil rights, liberties, and democracy. My goal is to provide high-quality content that sheds light on the most pressing issues of our time. How your donation will help. Your contribution will go directly towards upgrading my equipment and software to ensure high-quality content creation and editing. Content creation. Producing in-depth news articles, documentaries, and other content that exposes the truth and promotes social justice. Merchandise and partnerships. Creating merchandise where partial proceeds will go to institutions like the ACLU and NAACP, promoting social justice and equality. Why your support matters. By supporting my GoFundMe campaign, you'll be contributing to a crucial mission, promoting independent journalism, helping to create a media outlet that's free from corporate influence and dedicated to telling stories that matter, advocating for civil rights, supporting a platform that amplifies the voices of marginalized communities, and advocates for social justice. Every donation counts, and I'm grateful for your consideration. Let's work together to create a more and equitable society through independent journalism and advocacy. And without further ado, let's get to the video. My dear friends, we live in a world that can sometimes seem overwhelming. In a world filled with darkness, fear, and division. But I stand before you today to remind you that we have the power to choose a different path. We have the power to choose love over fear, respect over disdain, and compassion over judgment. Life is not easy, and it's not easy for anyone. We all struggle. We all face challenges. We all have our own unique experiences. But in the midst of these struggles, we have a choice. We can choose to let the darkness consume us, or we can choose to be the light that shines through it. We can choose to be the beacon of hope in a world that often seems hopeless. We can choose to be the source of love and compassion in a world that often seems cold and unforgiving. We can choose to be the bridge that connects us rather than the wall that divides us. But this choice requires courage. It requires us to stand up against the forces of hate and intolerance. It requires us to stand up against the voices that seek to divide us and tear us apart. It requires us to stand up for what is right, even when it's hard. We must recognize that the forces of darkness are not just external, but also internal. They are the voices of fear and doubt that whisper in our ears, telling us that we are not enough or that we are not worthy. But we must not listen to these voices. We must instead listen to the voice of love and compassion that resides within us. We must come together as one and stop fighting each other and our neighbors. We must recognize that the differences that divide us are not as great as the similarities that unite us. We are all human beings, the human race, for there is only one race, the human race. And anyone that tells you otherwise is pushing racism. We are all human beings deserving of love, respect, and dignity. So let us choose love over fear. Let us choose respect over disdain. Let us choose compassion over judgment. Let us be the light in the darkness. Shine bright like a diamond for all to see. For in the end, it's not the darkness that will win, but the light. It is not the forces of hate that will prevail, but the forces of love. And it's not the voices of fear that will be heard, but the voices of courage and compassion. So let us rise up, my friends, and let us be the change that we wish to see in the world. Let us be the light that shines in the darkness, and let us fill up the world with love, compassion, and hope.
The thousands and thousands and thousands of people who send their children to school there, who live in a beautiful spot. It's near the ocean. It's above the Pacific Ocean. It's called the Pacific Palisades, the Palisades being the sort of high mountains overlooking the ocean. The village, it's a village. The school that burnt to the ground is called the Village School. You know, Los Angeles is a bunch of villages. Beverly Hills was a village. Brentwood is a village. It's small clusters of communities of people who've come together and create a life together. And so my home is safe. I live in a canyon directly next to this catastrophe. The canyon I live in today is intact and has been spared. But the community of the Pacific Palisades has been decimated. And it is I have adrenaline in me, so I'm actually a little bit in shock still. I'm trying to sort of suit up and show up today. I'm doing some other work. I'm promoting a movie. I arrived last night. I got on the plane. I was halfway here, and the texts started. So by the time I landed, I knew that there was a serious situation in California, in the Pacific Palisades.
You posted on social media, please post facts.
Well, because what happens, you know, here we are in a society of, it's the information, technical, digital society, and yet all you get are these harrowing images of hillsides on fire and a lot of innuendo, a lot of rumors, a lot of this is burning, that is burning. And what I searched for in my hotel room, I woke up at 3:30. My daughter, who had just arrived in Los Angeles, called me. We spoke at 3:30 my time. It was whatever time that is. I didn't do well in school. I think, are we 3 hours ahead here?
We are.
So that was midnight for her. You know, and she had just arrived, and we spoke, and I've been up since 3:30, and what I couldn't find were facts. What is burning? Where are the areas? You know, they do a perimeter map, which I understand. So I was asking people to give me facts.
Okay, but it's the timing of you even posting that is interesting because, of course, yesterday, Mark Zuckerberg, you know, who runs Facebook, Instagram, Meta, announced they're actually going to get rid of their fact-checking business, their efforts. How concerned are you, right, that we're in this time when we're already struggling to find facts? Now those guardrails on the things that we love, right? You love social media. I love social media.
Well, I don't love it.
You use it. You use it. Sorry.
No.
You use it.
I use it solely for a purpose, and that is to sell something. That is the sole purpose. It is not a portal to me. My secret for anybody listening is you don't read any comments, ever. The whole idea is it's a portal. This is what I think and want to say. And you're welcome to join me or not. I am concerned that the guardrails are not just fact-checking on social media. The guardrails are we've lost language.
Yeah.
Words do not mean what they mean. We've lost language. Language is this means this. And when we lose it in a political landscape, where if you tell me, oh, this is a fantastic orange table. Wow, I love it. Where did you get this orange table? If enough people believe that that's an orange table, we're in really big trouble,
Okay, but
Stephanie.
then isn't the answer...
So that's the fact.
Yes,
the fact is
but
this is blue.
But then we can't give up on telling the truth. We can't give up.
Well, you can never give up on it.
Okay, but right now some people are saying, you know what, there's alternative facts, and I'm in this camp or I'm in this camp.
By the way, that's fine, and they're entitled to that. The concern I have is that the most important thing that we have to protect is language, what things mean, and say, in recovery we have a phrase, say what you mean and mean what you say, just don't say it mean.
Oh.
And that's a way to be able to tell the truth and mean it, but not go after somebody. I'm not going to go after anybody for their beliefs here. It's not my business.
No one should.
No one should. But this is not orange. This is actually blue.
Okay, and calling someone out for telling a lie isn't going after them. It's honoring the truth.
I agree with you. And that's where the political climate is right now, because ultimately if you said this is orange and I say it's blue, the alternative fact that you just mentioned is that someone else is going to say, well, it's orange. I can't disabuse them of that. All I can do is do everything in my power to say what I mean and mean what I say, try not to say it mean, and protect the fact that this is a blue table. And that may be worth dying for people. Because if we're at the point where this can be any color table, then we're in really, really big trouble.
Let's talk about you and your extraordinary career where you have been a sex symbol, a scream queen, a dramatic act. You have been everything and had this extraordinarily beautiful and long career that an outsider would say is filled with reinvention. Or you might say, no, I've just given so many elements of me. Tell us your secrets as we go into a year where many people feel lost or exhausted. You're not, lady.
Well, by the way, everybody's a little lost because life is hard for everybody. I don't care what side of the political aisle you are on. Life is happening to all those people. Those people have sick children. Those people have dying parents. Those people have financial insecurity. Everybody does. That's a given. That's a across the board sort of equal playing field. And what was the other thing?
But
you said lost, and then what was the other thing?
Lost and exhausted.
Okay,
You're
exhausted.
Not.
Guess what? Everybody's exhausted. You know
You're
why?
not. You go to bed at 8 o'clock every night.
You know why everybody's exhausted? Because everybody works hard.
Yes.
And again, I'm talking about both sides of the aisle. It doesn't matter. Everybody works hard. I don't work hard. I don't work hard compared to anybody in the real world who is working hard. People who have 3 jobs to take care of their families. I mean, come on. I have an internal drive that is pretty good, and I have a passion for life, and I also recognize I'm going to be dead soon. Like, I'm 66. Excuse my French, effing talk, and not the Chinese thing that's either going to be bought by so-and-so or not, or whoever is going to buy it. But really time, Father Time also doesn't care what side of the political spectrum you are on. Time will get you.
But it's not getting you, right?
It
what
is
was it,
getting
a year
me.
and a half ago, when you won an Oscar, right, for Everything Everywhere All at Once? Was that like a turn? First of all, Deirdre, one of my favorite characters of all time. But was
I know,
that?
and you dressed up like
sure
her.
I sure.
That
you know
really, you know what? That really got me. That you dressed up like Deirdre.
Well, I love her. I love her.
Deirdre Deirdre.
I love her. Did that role? Did winning that? Was that a game changer for you?
Of course.
Why? I mean, you've had so much success.
You know what?
But
Here's why. Did you watch the Golden Globes?
I sure did.
By the way, Nikki Glaser. Come on!
Killed it.
That was wicked. And sorry, that's the wrong.
And never mean-spirited, right? She can win you, but she doesn't turn the knife.
She was just fantastic.
Yes.
God, that was thrilling to watch. And by the way, thrilling to watch. In the world of the world, there's a lot going on in the universe. It was an award show. But
I think you brought it up to talk about Demi Moore.
I did. So I've known Demi for a long time. And we are friends. We live in an area that's in grave danger today. We have been social friends. We're in a group of friends, of women that support each other. You know, we're good. I'll tell you something. When I published my first book for children, it was called When I Was Little, a 4-year-old's memoir of her youth, which was my first book I ever wrote. The first book signing I did was at a little bookstore in Los Angeles called Every Picture Tells a Story. No, excuse me, wrong. Children's Book World. Thank you, Heidi Schaefer of 42 years. I would have remembered that.
I was there.
I know you were. I was at a book signing, my first book signing at Children's Book World on Pico in Los Angeles. And I was sitting, and there were about 50 people on the floor in front of me. And I looked up, and there was Demi with, I think, Rumor, her eldest. And I remember thinking, I didn't know her then. We were casual acquaintances.
She came as a mom.
She came as a mom, and she came as a friend, because here was a new arena for me. I'd written a book for children. And so I've never forgotten that she was there, ever. Like, that made a huge impression on me, that she would take the time out, come all the way to Pico Boulevard to sit on the floor at this book signing.
And I'm guessing her speech the other night made a huge impression.
Of course. So when she got up and said, I've been in this business 45 years and I've never won anything for my craft.
Golden Globe goes to Demi Moore.
This is Demi Moore's third nomination and first win. She told me on the red carpet that she got this script right after questioning whether she should still be doing this or not.
Wow. I really wasn't expecting that. I'm just in shock right now. I've been doing this a long time, like over 45 years, and this is the first time I've ever won anything as an actor. And I'm just so humbled and so grateful. 30 years ago, I had a producer tell me that I was a popcorn actress, and at that time, I made that mean that this wasn't something that I was allowed to have, that I could do movies that were successful, that made a lot of money, but that I couldn't be acknowledged. And I bought in, and I believed that. And that corroded me over time, to the point where I thought a few years ago that maybe this was it. Maybe I was complete. Maybe I've done what I was supposed to do. And as I was at kind of a low point, I had this magical, bold, courageous, out of the box, absolutely bonkers script come across my desk called The Substance. And the universe told me that you're not done. And I am so grateful to Coralie for trusting me to step in and play this woman, for Margaret for being the other half of me that I couldn't have done without, for looking out for me, to the people who've been with me for over 30 years, Kevin Eubank, Jason Weinberg, everybody at CAA, Untitled, LEAD, all of the people who stood by me, especially the people who believed in me when I haven't believed in myself. And I'll just leave you with one thing that I think this movie is imparting, is in those moments when we don't think we're smart enough or pretty enough or skinny enough or successful enough or basically just not enough. I had a woman say to me, just know you will never be enough, but you can know the value of your worth if you just put down the measuring stick. And so today I celebrate this as a marker of my wholeness and of the love that is driving me, and for the gift of doing something I love and being reminded that I do belong. Thank you so much.
And all of a sudden you want to go, okay, wait a minute. A Few Good Men, Ghost. I mean, you start naming Striptease, you start naming the movies. And then I remembered the moment at the Golden Globes with Michelle Yeoh. Do you remember what happened?
I sure do.
With the hype women?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what the true story of that was, I was sitting next to Michelle Yeoh at the Golden Globes.
Because you're the ultimate hype sister.
Okay,
you are.
except, listen to me. This is what happened. I was sitting next to Michelle Yeoh. They said the next award is going to be actress in a movie. I had already lost, by the way. I had been nominated. I had lost. I was sitting next to Michelle. I also got COVID at that Golden Globes, by the way. The only time I had COVID was from the Golden Globes when we had full test protection. But whatever. I won't name names. You know who you are, because you also got it. Anyway, or you brought it, if you know what I mean. Whatever, it's fine. Bygones, let bygones. Anyway, we were sitting there, and they said the next award is going to be this. And Michelle had this look on her face, and I reached over and I held her hand, and I said, Michelle, what's going on? She goes, I'm so nervous. I said, why, sweetheart? She said, I've never been nominated for anything. And I looked at her, she was 60. She's been in this business for so long, doing
super talent,
amazing work. And I realized in that second that this woman had never been nominated for anything. And then she won. And that moment was primarily because she had just shared this really vulnerable truth about her life. And that's what Demi did. Demi got up and told the world, I've been doing this for 45 years. And I've been told I am not to have this. And you're telling me it's okay. You know, my own experience as a woman is now telling me I can have this.
But is the industry changing? Because now women, and I hate saying women of a certain age, aren't just getting mom characters that wouldn't even be up for those kind of awards.
No.
You're getting the meaty, complicated. Today, you're nominated for a SAG award, right? Because these are complicated, extraordinary roles, and you're extraordinary
women
actresses.
with Pamela.
With Pamela Anderson, with
who's
our Pamela.
also over a certain age. Yes, there has been a history of discarding women after a certain age. That is just show business. That is just the world. The world is a male-dominated world, and women have been discarded since the beginning of time. That is changing. It hasn't changed 100%. It is changing, and artists like Nicole Kidman. I mean, I was in Palm Springs last weekend talking about Nicole Kidman at the Palm Springs Film Festival because I gave her the International Star of the Year. And I wrote the speech, and the speech is, how do you become the biggest star in the world? There's no bigger star in the world, television, media, film, than Nicole Kidman. How do you do it? And at the center of her is love. And it's her mother, love from her mother, her family, love from her husband, who adores her, her children, love of her own passion for what she does. Love is this, and you know, our friend Marianne Williamson tried to run for president on the
basis of it.
Basis of
okay,
that love has to lead us.
Do you think that love gets the wrong brand, right? People think of love as this sort of mamsy-pamsy, weak, silly, when the truth is there's nothing more powerful than love.
What's the movie that Richard Curtis made that Hugh Grant is in that Love Actually. Thank you.
One of my all-time
And how
favorites.
does that movie end? It's at an airport, isn't it?
Correct.
At an airport, at an arrival.
Do you know, I dream of having an airport arrival like that, but in 2025, nobody picks you up at the airport.
But that's all you have to do, by the way. You have to just look at an airport when people are arriving. And by the way, my heart just literally just went to that awful airplane crash, I believe in Singapore, 2 weeks ago. And all of those people waiting for those people, and the pictures of those people sitting in airports waiting. So humanity is not mamsy-pamsy. Love is not left or right. Love is universal. Love is the only thing that will get us through, is love. And by the way, all kinds of love. Love of humans, love of country, love of animals, love of ideas, love of words will get us through.
So, you know, that scene is so funny because people don't think about picking someone up at an airport as being especially poignant, but it is, because you would only pick someone up at an airport that you love.
Right.
Right? Love. It seems like it's not a big deal. No. You pick someone up that you love.
And love is the secret sauce of life. And so so we're talking about women. Well, women are, I'm going to say, the majority source of love. I think it's more of a woman's job. Our job is to be a source of love.
Then is that the secret to your career? Because just a moment ago you were talking about hype women. We talked about the Last Showgirl a minute ago, and you said, you know, Pamela was nominated. So were you.
I understand.
Do
but
you think the secret of your career is you don't just love your craft, you love the people you work with? You have been more excited about this film and her role in this film than you are your own.
Oh, of course.
Why?
I just am.
It's just the woman you are.
I just, honestly, I'm not trying to, you know, when I heard Pamela Anderson was going to star in The Last Showgirl without reading it, and they said, you've been offered this movie, it's called The Last Showgirl.
Which on its cover face seemed like a small movie.
It is a small movie, by the way. It was made
shot in 18 days.
$1.8 million, and it was shot in 18 days. I was there 3 total. I was there 4. One day I traveled and then shot 3 days and then left to continue on my work life. When I heard she was going to be in the movie, before I read it, I said, and they said it's to play.
And you weren't friends yet.
I'd never met her. I'd never seen her, and they said it's to play her best friend, this old showgirl, stripper, now cocktail waitress, best friend. I said, oh yeah, I'll do it. Of course I'll do it, because without knowing her, I know her, and it's like without. By the way, without knowing you, I know you.
That's how I feel.
And I remember
you.
the first time, I don't stay up late enough to watch you. And I stayed up late enough to see you on something. I remember you were sitting, and what I loved was you kind of went like this. You kind of, the way you sat in this chair, it was like you weren't like this. You were like, all right. And you were kind of posing a question, and I remember saying to my husband, who is that? And I knew you, and I thought, well, of course you're doing that work. Of course that's how you do the work you do. You're not Good evening.
No.
I'm a wonk. Sorry, I'm not making fun of somebody who does that. I'm just telling you, I knew who you are before I ever knew who you were until I met you. And then it was like, oh, and I've never met you.
Yeah, we've never met face to face. We did have a phone call because I am your husband's #1 fan. And when my husband and I are at odds, he puts on a Christopher Guest movie
I understand.
to reconnect.
I understand.
We are connected.
But I knew who you were. I just knew it. And I think if that's my secret sauce, that's my secret sauce, is that I do have an understanding. I've been here a long time. I know bullshit when I see it. And my bullshit meter is very active. And so I don't allow that very much. And I also, the other secret is, and this has taken me a minute, it's okay if people don't like me.
It's not your business.
It's none of my business. And for a minute, this industry will put you in a position where you're worried that people will like you. And you know what? It's okay. I say what I mean what I say. I try not to say it mean. And I'm here for a purpose, and my purpose is not to make you happy. My purpose is to tell the truth. And that is my goal now.
You tell serious truths, and you always have, right? Beyond being an actress, I think it's fair to say you've been an advocate for years and years for underdogs in all different verticals.
Because
Why?
life is hard. My husband was in The Princess Bride. And
one of the greatest movies ever.
A great movie, William Goldman's screenplay. And there's a moment where the Princess Bride is with the man in black, and they're on the top of the cliff, and he's telling her that her fiance, her love, Wesley, right, has been killed. That the man in black saw him die. And she says, "You mock my pain." And he says to her, "Life is pain, Highness. And anyone who says differently is selling something." That is, if on my tombstone, that's what it will be. Life is pain, Highness, and anyone who says differently is selling something. Life is hard. Just life is hard, period, end of story for everybody. And I think people know that I know that. That's why I can actually have a conversation with somebody on the complete opposite political spectrum from me, on an entire different planet politically than I am. I will find common ground with that person.
But then are you worried right now? Because as this, I'm going to say advocate for an underdog, you've been an advocate for the LGBTQ plus community
and I
for
will
years,
continue
right?
to be.
You're a trans mother.
I am now a trans mother. I was not until my daughter transitioned. That's just a new, in recovery we say, more will be revealed. More was revealed to me.
Are you worried in this political climate?
Of course.
So where do you put that? What do you do with it?
I'm doing it right here, right now, which is trying to appeal to people to listen to each other and to not stand and live behind these sort of rigid, calcified ideas. I really believe in this phrase, old ideas, new ideas. That something can be an old idea and you can have a new idea. You can actually change. We have minds.
Yes.
We have minds. They are a muscle. They change. And I believe that is my purpose.
But we have to choose to use those minds,
well,
right?
That's...
I talk about it all the time, the corpus callosum, right? It is this group of nerves that connects the right side and the left side. But something has happened that people aren't using our minds. We're just getting triggered, and staying in our corners. How do we get people to use those complete minds and see one another as a complete person?
That's a TV show that you and I would probably have to do. To thine own self be true is really where it begins. We can't pontificate, we can't populate ideas until we really know them ourselves. And then work small, concentric circles, man. First, your life, your community, the people you work with, your crew, your family, your populace around you. Then the next level of the concentric circle. And it moves out of that. I do think be the change you want to be is the way to change it. You're not going to change it by saying something on television. We're going to change it by behaviors, by actions, by intentionality about things. And civilization has endured a lot. I was at a conference once, and someone talked about Hiroshima. Now, every year on the anniversary of that bombing, I send to a large group of people the New Yorker. If you haven't read it, it's 44 pages. It was the New Yorker that was written, an article that was written 2 weeks, a month later. And it gives you a real understanding of what that meant. You must look back and say, this happened, this is how this happened, but look at us today. We have survived that. Civilization has survived that horrific moment in human history. I am very close friends with many Jews, many Jewish people. We survived the Holocaust. Many millions and millions and millions did not. But then people did, and that they have had children, and now those stories get to be told. That's, talk history. We're going to survive. We just have to talk to each other, try to lead with kindness and love, and be open-minded enough to not close the door on someone because they have a specific ideology.
All right, then, you talked history. There's one other H word, and there's someone you honored this week on social media, and it's President Jimmy Carter.
Okay.
Who's lying in state right now.
Okay.
And what you wrote was, "Thank you, Mr. President, for teaching us humanity."
Yeah. And then I think I may have texted, let's have a Jimmy Carter 2025. Like, just, when someone dies, anytime in your life, what do you say to people? Are your parents alive?
Yes.
Okay. Mine are both dead. I've had many friends die. And what you end up saying, because the words are stupid in that moment, you talk about feelings, is take the examples that those people spent their life doing and absorb them into your own life. Just take that one thing that they did and absorb it. And Jimmy Carter, we should all be absorbing everything. You're talking about the fundamentals of religion, of Christianity, is helping people.
Humility and goodness and decency.
Decency and helping and sweat equity. I am Stephanie Rule. My favorite word, my people will tell you, sweat equity.
2 words. Wise ass, my favorite 2 words.
Do I punch her live on television, or do we wait until you've stopped rolling?
Wise ass, those are my 2 favorite words.
Sweat equity.
Yes.
Sweat equity means you have a friend, like I'm about to go home tomorrow morning for some sweat equity.
Damn right.
The sweat equity is to help my friends who've lost their homes, go to their houses, help them together. One thing I'm going to tell you, which you don't know and most people don't know in the world, I'm not saying in the world like it's a big thing, I'm saying it's going to be this year a big thing. I was sitting in my house in the mountains when I read an article about the Paradise Fire in Paradise, California. It was a book that was written by Lizzie Johnson, and it was her account of embedding with the people of Paradise, California, because on, I believe, November 8th, 2018, a fire ripped through the town of Paradise, California.
There was a bus driver.
Well, and it decimated the town. Mm-hmm. I believe it killed over 90 people. And there was a story in that book of bus driver, down on his luck guy, driving a bus so he could go to night school to become a teacher. And he volunteered to go pick up 22 stranded children because their parents couldn't get there. And then a teacher named Mary, and his name is Kevin McKay, and a teacher named Mary Ludwig, who'd been a teacher at that school for a long time, got on that school bus with them. And for 8 hours, nobody knew where they were. And I heard that story, Stephanie Roll. And I thought, wow, there's the movie. That's the movie of how do you tell a catastrophic fire story? You tell it through that. But I didn't do anything. And then the next day, my sweet girl, my sweet girl, the next day, I was driving down the road and I turned on NPR, which I am wont to do, and Scott Simon might have been on Weekend Edition. And Scott Simon came on and said, my first guest today is Lizzie Johnson, who's written the book, Paradise, the Story of an American Wildfire. And she came on and he said, Lizzie, I loved your book, but the story that really got me was the story of Kevin McKay. And Stephanie Roll, I pulled my car over on the side of the road. I picked up the very phone with the bandolier case that you saw, and I dialed Jason Blum, who runs Blumhouse, who made all the Halloween movies with me. And I called him and I said, Jason, I'm sending you a link to an NPR story and a Washington Post story, which is where I first read the story the day before. And I said, I want to buy the book and I want to make it a movie because I think this is going to be the most important thing you and I ever do.
Oh my gosh.
And he read it and said yes. And that movie is coming out this year for Apple, starring Matthew McConaughey and America Ferrara, called The Lost Bus. But this is a story. I have gotten to know Kevin McKay and Mary and the people of Paradise, California. And so the sweat equity that I'm talking to you about, I'm just going to go and replicate it in my own home. Now I'm going to go home and do it versus going up to Paradise to meet with them, meet with the people. This is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be telling stories about human beings coming together, banding together to survive a very harsh world. And it's a harsh world wherever you go. And so how bizarre that a movie that's going to say produced by Jamie Lee Curtis is a movie about a town that was decimated by, at the time, the worst wildfire in California history.
And you're going home to it?
And I'm going home to it. I'm going home. The images that I shared with you, I have footage of from Paradise, California in 2018. And it just feels like this is my purpose now, is to simply find stories to tell, try to find people to tell them with, and to connect to people like yourself who, we didn't know each other, but I swear to you, I went, who is that? Literally in that tone of voice. I probably said that to my husband because he's up way late at night and he, of course, knew you and loved you, but I was like, I don't know why I was up. Maybe it was during something.
I don't know, but
you were wearing an orange sweater. I remember what you were wearing. And it was just your way of sitting. It was the way you sat in the chair. Just this, you went kind of like this.
Can I just tell you one thing?
It was fantastic.
Can I tell you one thing?
Yes,
When
Queen.
I came to work here at NBC,
Queen.
right, I don't have any background in TV, the number one complaint I kept getting from talent management was the way that I sit. That was the number one complaint I got. Like, why are you sitting? Like, shouldn't you be sitting up? And it's that's why you just make my day.
But it was the thing, man. It was the thing that made me go, oh, who is that? Like, she's amazing. You're an amazing, amazing woman. You tell harsh, hard truths. You challenge people. I don't know how you do your job. I could not do your job. It's a challenging time, and yet I hope everybody watching this can then tell their friends, let's just be more like Jimmy Carter. Let's be more willing to listen. Let's be more willing to do sweat equity to help each other, and stay away from the calcified, rigidity of American politics today. And did you watch the Golden Globes?
Yes.
Okay, so when Carla Sofia took the mic at the end for the movie Emilia Perez,
dressed in Buddhist colors,
and said, "I am wearing the Buddhist colors," and I think she said about lightness and darkness, that the light will always win.
Yes.
That threw me to the ground. I was sobbing so hard.
But we have to choose that, because darkness wants to take the light.
Okay,
and all it takes is one light.
I know, but she also said, and this is a trans woman, a movie about, but she also said, you can beat us up, you can jealous, but you can't take away who we are. And so, I just say, let's just be light. And by the way, bring it. Because guess what? I'm not going to read your comments anyway. It's okay. You can say whatever you want. I don't care. I don't read it. I just don't read it.
I want you to know I love you. I am so grateful.
Happy to know you.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Mwah.
Je suis comme mon prédécesseur. May I have a translation, please? On laisse passer à bas.
Unexpected.
Oui, j'avais rien préparé.
Clearly, I've not prepared anything.
Voilà, c'est tout. Alors, Carla Sofia, por favor.
Thank you so much. I chose these colors tonight, the Buddhist color, because I have a massive hope for you. The light always wins over darkness. And I have a lot of things to say to you, because you can maybe put us in jail. You can beat us up, but you never can take away our soul, our existence, our identity. And I want to say to you, raise your voice, freedom, and say, I am who I am, know who you want. Thank you so much.
I want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of this journey. Your engagement and support mean everything to me. If you'd like to support our mission further, be sure to check out our upcoming videos and merchandise, with proceeds going to institutions like the NAACP and the ACLU and other institutions that help to fight for civil rights and equality. Also, if you are able to, I do have a GoFundMe. I will link in the description box for those that are able to help to support to our fund to build a channel that addresses civil rights and liberties, as well as our constitutional freedoms, and helps to put an end to disinformation and propaganda by stating the facts. Once again, I want to thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for supporting my channel. I wish you all the best. Be kind to yourselves and be kind to others. We'll see you in the next video.